What is up, guys? Riley here, and today we're going to be checking up on the traxxas slash. I've been running it and I haven't had any Loctite or anything, so every 4 batteries I'll pull the cover off the spur gear and make sure everything's nice and tight, because I did have an incident where some screws came loose and it kind of tore up the inside a little bit, but we still run, we're okay. So I'm going to go ahead, pull it apart, make sure it is alright, and then we're going to take it for some bashing. So let's get into it. Alright, so I have the slash here. As you can see, grass all in it. It's a mess. I've really been putting this thing through some carnage. The battery's all cracked up, as you can see, right there, and it's actually only the back that's cracking up like that. I don't know why, but it'll be okay. I'm gonna get a new body for it anyways. I'll take this out just to have some space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be taking the spur gear cover off. I'm gonna make sure the spur gear is nice and tight, and the pinion on the motor is nice and tight. So I'm gonna get the tools and we're gonna start working. Alright, so I got the spur gear off. Get a flashlight down in there. So the spur gear seems to be good. I'm gonna wiggle it around some. Make sure it's not sliding. I'll take my wrench and make sure it's tight. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. Yep, nice and tight. So that's definitely a plus. Make sure the gears look good too. Make sure I don't have too much damage or anything on them. And then the second thing is, so the screws on the spur gear are on this side of the spur gear. And if you can get a light in there, you can actually kind of see the screws. So we'll roll it around. There's only 3 of them. So that's 2 of them. Alright, so we're looking good. It's probably not the proper way to check up on it. But obviously I'm not a professional. So I don't really like having to take this part apart a lot, just because it's bigger, and I find the SEX24 is easier to work on and this harder. The next thing, so that seems good. I'm gonna get the spur gear cover on it. I'll probably clean it up a little bit, get the grass out. The next thing is, if you heard, my I wrecked this and broke the A-arm on it, so I bought some RPM A-arms. I've got them on now, and when I did, the bottom cap of the shock actually came off, and so I bought a shock rebuild kit, and it was out of oil because the plastic cap actually popped off when I wrecked too. It didn't break, but it just kind of popped off. So I got some more oil, I put it in, and it seems to be not enough. So when it gets compressed, the right side sits down more. It's just not doing what it needs to. So I'm thinking it needs more oil, so I'm going to pull the shock cap off and all, put some oil in it. If that's not what it needs and you know what it needs, please comment down below. I don't have much knowledge on these trucks at all. Yes, I like them, but I don't know much about them. So I'm going to go ahead, get the spur gear cover on, and get some oil in that shock. So I've got it back together, and the shock seems better than it was before. Actually, it's very smooth, and it's handling a little better. but it seems a little underpowered. I'm assuming because it's cold and it's a lipo. But I've got this ramp set up here. It's just a bunch of plywood. I don't have an actual ramp. But yeah, I'm gonna try not to break it today. So let's go ahead and get started. All the way down. Sounds like something's wrong. Well, if you can look in there, I don't know what it is, but it snapped. That thing, it's not really wanting to focus. But there we go. So, got one more thing to replace. We can still run it, two-wheel drive. Technically, I'll just take the drive shaft out. So I'm gonna get the drive shaft out and I'm gonna drive it around and see how it does. See if we can get some wheelies on it. Alrighty, so got a damage report on the Slash. So far this shock is looking good. It's still operating properly. I pulled the front end off mostly. I just didn't undo the servo. And luckily it is, if I get it, just this little piece that broke off. So that's what the drive shaft hooks into, and that's actually plastic. And it's, you know, that's the back part of it, and it's just got a little grub screw. So I can just go buy a metal one of those. So that definitely saved me money. But I'm not gonna run anymore in this video. Next video we'll run it two-wheel drive, see how it jumps, two-wheel drive, see how it handles, and see if we can do wheelies.